All right, everyone, this is day 3 of pancake stacking. I'm going to start off by showing a couple problems that you know you do not need to write these down if you do not want to, or you are welcome to. Here is problem number 1. Problem number 1 is a pretty typical problem, 2 plus 5. I'm just showing this using pancake stacking so you can see exactly what it looks like. Remember, your first step is to write it down. And then we circle our integers, which is the most important part of all of this. We have a positive 2 and a positive 5, which means there are 2 positives and then 5 positives. And this is just a problem to illustrate that we don't always have a pancake stack. We don't always have 0 pairs. So you can notice here, these are all positives. There are no 0 pairs. A lot of times people try to like circle them because they're next to each other, a positive with a positive. Well, that's 2 positives. That's not a 0 pair. So the total here is 7. And then problem number 2. So these are just ones we know how to do. Negative 2 plus 5 looks like a pretty typical pancake stacking problem. And when you look at this, you know that you are going to start off by circling your integers. And my first integer is negative 2, so I'm going to use 2 negative signs to represent it. And then positive 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 5 positive signs to represent the positive 5. And this time I do have 0 pairs, so what's left is 3 positives, so positive 3. And again, this is a pretty typical problem, just like you've seen before. Problem number 3. Again, I'm just showing you right now just a bunch of really typical problems that you've seen in the past and you're really pretty good at. 2 minus 5. This is one that usually catches a lot of people. 2 minus 5. They're like, I'm not really sure what to do. Am I adding or subtracting? Just go back to pancake stacking. So you start off by circling your integers. You have a positive 2 and you have a negative 5. So don't think of this as an adding or subtracting problem. You have 2 positives and you have 5 negatives. And now you can see that if you have 2 positives and 5 negatives, you can circle your 0 pairs, and what's left is your answer, 3 negatives. All right, last one that's a review from yesterday and the day before, problem number 4, negative 2 minus 5. Again, this is one of those problems that people aren't sure what to do. Negative 2 minus 5, am I adding, am I subtracting? You are just combining 2 integers, so you have a negative 2 and a negative 5. So as soon as you start thinking of these as combining integers, you can see that you have 2 negative integers, 5 negatives, 3, 4, 5. And when I write that down, in my head I now see that there are no 0 pairs. It's just a whole lot of negatives. So no 0 pairs. Again, there are no 0 pairs. We just have a whole lot of negatives here. So my answer is negative 7. All right, so we are going to take a jump to today's lesson. Here is where I want you guys to start taking notes. So for today's lesson, I'm going to do 4 problems with you that look a little bit different than yesterday. It's still combining integers. It's still the same idea. But these are some problems that you've probably seen before, and I'm sure you've seen them in the past. So on problem number 1, you may have seen something like this. Negative 2 plus, and then in parentheses, negative 5. And when you see that, you're like, well, I could see that this is a negative 2 out in front. But then I have plus negative 5. So what does that mean? Well, plus negative 5 just means minus 5 or negative 5, because a positive and a negative, just keep it negative. So this is a negative 5. So now we just do it just like we do with pancake stacking. Negative 2, negative 5. There's no 0 pairs. And we just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 negatives. So when you see a parentheses and it's plus negative, it just means that it's a negative 5, because you're adding more negatives, okay? The next one, problem number 2. So we have 2 minus negative 5. So we're at positive 2 and we're minusing negative 5. So what does that mean? Minusing a negative just means adding. So if you're getting rid of negatives, it means that you're adding. So we're going to change this to say plus. So we have a positive 2 and now we have a positive 5. So we can still think of this as two integers. So the positive 2 and then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. And again, we have no zero pairs because we have 2 positives and 5 positives. So this answer here is going to be 7. Okay, because we have 2 and 5. Let's go on to number 3. And feel free to pause this video if you need to, if you feel like I'm going fast, or rewind it if you need to, if you feel like I'm going too fast. Problem number 3. They all look very similar because they all have 2's and 5's in them. Some of them are positive, some are negative, all of them will have parentheses. 2 plus negative 5. So we already talked about a problem like this. It's just like problem number 1. The only difference is, so in problem number 1 we had negative 2 plus negative 5, and this one it's positive 2 plus negative 5. So we have a positive 2 out in front, plus negative just means negative, so that's going to be a negative 5 right there. So we've got 2 positives and 5 negatives. And now we do have zero pairs. 1, 2, and my answer is going to be negative 3. Problem number 4 is negative 2 minus negative 5. And again, this is just like a problem we just did. What do we do when we have a minus a negative? Minus a negative just means plus. So we're going to change that minus negative, the double negative, it's going to change to plus. So now we have a negative 2 and a positive 5. And then you can circle zero pairs. And what's left is 1, 2, 3 positives, positive 3. All right, so that wasn't really that much to go through. The biggest deal is that you need to know the difference. If it says plus a negative, that just means that's a negative number. If it says minus a negative, it just means it's a positive number because 2 negatives make it positive. So here are some problems for you to try. And these you definitely want to write down. So the first one, and I'll pause and leave you guys some time in here to be able to get it done. So problem number 1, 6 plus negative 2. Go ahead and work on that one now. Remember, you know that the 6 is a positive, so you can circle that right away. Plus negative 2. Plus negative 2 means that it's going to be a negative 2. Plus a negative means it's negative. And then you need to circle that. Put your positives and negatives underneath to represent that number. You do have zero pairs, so go ahead and circle them. And you should get your answer. All right, so this is what it looked like. Positive 6 plus negative makes that a negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 2 is 1, 2 negatives. Now we just need to circle them. There's my zero pairs, and what's left? 1, 2, 3, 4 positives. All right. Number 2. Number 2 is negative 5 minus negative 3. Negative 5 minus negative 3. So remember, when we have negative 5 minus negative 3, negative 5 is out front, so you can circle that. Minus negative 3 when you have the two, a minus and a negative. That makes it positive, so it makes it a positive 3. Then you have 5 negatives, so put your minus signs underneath it. And you have 3 positives, so put your plus signs underneath it. And go ahead and circle your 0 pairs. And what you have left is your answer. So let's go ahead and look at this. So we have 5 negatives minus negative means plus. So we have a positive 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And circle my 0 pairs. And what's left here? Negative 2. Excellent. All right, 2 more problems. These I'm not going to talk you through. I'm just going to give you plenty of time to do them. So you have 3 plus negative 7. And then on problem number 4, I want you to do 4 minus negative 2. So I will give you a minute to finish both of these. Be sure to circle your integers. When you have adding a negative, it just means negative. If you have subtracting a negative or minus negative, it means plus or positive. Show all your work. Take your time doing this. This is literally as complex as you're going to get on these. And again, this will help you so much when we get into combining like terms with variables. And you will remember pancake stacking for the rest of your life. All right, let's take 20 more seconds. You should be just about done if you're not already. All right, so number 3. Remember, so that's a 3, it's a positive 3. There's no sign in front of it, means it's positive. 7 has 2 signs in front of it, so we have plus negative. We said when you have plus negative, it means that it's a negative 7. So we have 1, 2, 3 positives, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives. We do have 0 pairs. So I go ahead and circle those, and what's left is negative 4. And the last one, number 4. 4 minus negative 2. So again, the 4 is positive, so you can just circle that. Minus negative 2. Minus of negative means that it's positive. When you see that double negative, it's a positive. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 positives. And then we have 2 positives. Hope you guys didn't circle anything because there are no pancake stacks here. These are a whole bunch of positive numbers. Nothing is a 0 pair. So we have no 0 pairs. I like to write that because it reminds me not to circle anything and not to like start doing that in my head because I start doing a lot of this in my head otherwise. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my answer is 6. So make sure that you go on to do the homework today as well. That will all be posted along with this lesson. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye.